I learn as much from my clients as they learn from me. And when it comes to AI, humans need connection.
Mhm.
You can go on AI and AI can help you with a workout, but AI is not going to give you the same fulfillment to get it done as having a meaningful connection with someone who's there with you. Maybe for some people that's good enough, but it doesn't work for everybody.
What if the best chapter of your life hasn't even begun yet? What lies within you is the power to live brighter, bolder, and truer than ever before. So welcome to Vivatude, where caregiving, connections, and career come into balance, and where your vitality, vision, and voice shines through. Because the revolution isn't out there, it's already within you. Welcome to Vivatude.
Welcome to Vivatude. I am very excited today to be talking with a good friend of mine who is also, we're going to talk about both occupational wellness and financial wellness. I'm Kate Phillips, your occupational and financial wellness host here on Vivatude, which I also describe as purpose and prosperity. We are going to talk about all that today with my good friend. Welcome to the show, Brenda Sutton.
Hi. Hi, Kate.
Hey there. Brenda has an amazing story that we're going to tease out. And I wanted her to share her story because she is somebody who has been through life challenges, the life challenge of being a single mom and living in an expensive city. She's been through the challenges of discovering that the corporate job she was working wasn't going to serve her any longer. She's also been through the challenge of caregiving her parents while she is changing careers. So she's got so much wisdom to share. And I was just telling Brenda, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to her and interview her and I've shared her story in the past in trainings because I love what I have coined the new retirement paradigm. And it's a new way of looking at our lives rather than a linear, you're going to go to school, then you're going to work, now you're going to retire and have leisure, that it's a way of living and also a way of um, being lifelong learners and lifelong earners, where if you are in the bucket, and I know a lot of our listeners, they are caregivers and sometimes going through the financial challenges of caregiving, and you are perhaps at a point where you start thinking, oh my gosh, I'm never going to retire. Because when we're looking at the traditional model that says you need this huge nest egg before you can even think about retiring, we want to present some creativity and some other ways of thinking about all of this. So, Brenda, where do I start here? I would love for you to let's start with you got an inkling a few years ago before we met that you were ready for a career change. Tell us about what you were doing and what were your first signs that you didn't want to keep doing that corporate job, for another decade or more.
Yeah, I worked in the financial services industry, mostly at the end towards with organizational change. And I just came home one day and just decided, wow, I am working hard as a single mom, as in a visible job in corporate. I was exhausted and I was thinking, wow, how many years do I really want to keep doing this? And if I didn't want to keep doing it, what kind of things would I start changing in order to change my trajectory, in order to steer my own ship in a new direction? And I just started thinking about other ways that I might, ways that I could prepare myself for this.
Yes, and you've
And
got a really fun phrase that I want you to share about you wanted to go from paycheck to playcheck. Tease that out for me.
yeah, I wanted to find a way to rewire instead of retire because I am too young to retire, rewire away from corporate and not make a paycheck anymore, but make a play check because I wanted what I do to be fun and to be something that I could
Yeah.
do for a long time and to be flexible. Yeah.
Yes. A phrase I love to say is that I want to create a life that I don't want to retire from
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes we're working a job and you're in the cubicle and you're doing the commute and you're like, how many days can I start checking off on the calendar? How many
Yeah.
more hundreds or thousands of days do I need to do this job before I
Mm-hmm.
can retire? But when we are living in alignment with our purpose and we're loving what we do and it gives us energy instead of drains our energy, then playing an entirely different game.
Yeah. And during that time in corporate or with whatever life we had for so long, we've learned so much that we can share in other ways. And so, how can
Yeah,
we take our passion and our wisdom and our strengths and wrap them into a new package that's going to be something that's going to be fun and fulfilling and potentially benefit other people?
absolutely. And you've got another extraordinary story around what it is that you're doing now and how that, you see the meme of how it started and how it's going.
Yeah.
And when you were in high school and even in your 20s, you were not a physically active person. But now, tell us what you're doing now, and then we'll go back and look at that trajectory.
Yeah. I actually work at Portland State University and Reed College, and I'm teaching group fitness, Pilates classes. I'm a personal trainer. I also do it on my own, in my
Yeah.
own home or on Zoom. And I really have fun with people, getting them to feel better in their body, getting them active, helping them get strong so that they have a better life experience, so they can do the things they love, so they can play with their grandchildren or have more energy at the end of the day. And ultimately, so some people can stay independent longer and live in their homes longer. Um, and it's been such a fun ride to get there. I've had to learn about anatomy. I mean, that's a lot different than the financial services industry.
That's
And
for sure.
learn about anatomy and body parts and movements. And it's helped me be more compassionate with myself and other people. When we're over 25, our bodies change, and every day is a different new day sometimes. And to learn how to move and be with that, get strong, and stay mobile is a lifelong skill that helps us have a better experience in our life and with those people we love.
Yes. Well, you've been so active ever since I met you. I think we met about 5 years ago. You were just getting ready to give notice, or you had just given notice at your corporate job, and you were going into a sabbatical season. We'll talk about that in a bit too. You were just getting ready to go into that, but I came to know you as you were Brenda the backpacker, and Brenda and her sweetie, they go off on these multi-day backpacks.
Mhm.
I know you also helped get a group of women, hiking up Mount St. Helens. Like I knew you as a backpacker. And so I wasn't super shocked when I learned that you were going to turn this into your next career. But then I learned that this was not your past, that you had gone through an entire trajectory of being somebody who, had like hardly ever walked more than a mile in her life. And now this is, your life. So how did that start where you really started transitioning into somebody who went from not active into having these huge breakthroughs and being one of the most active people that I know?
Yeah. Yeah. like I think about 18 years ago, I had a friend ask me if I wanted to go for a hike. And I said, how long is that hike? And they said, it's only like 3 miles. And I'm like, I haven't hiked 3 miles. I don't think I can hike 3 miles. And they called BS on me, literally called BS on me. And they said, they're like, wait, what? That doesn't make sense. I see you dance. I see you do things, And so I started walking, and my daughter actually coached me to run a half a mile one time when she was younger than 8. And
Your
I ran the
daughter's
Hood to
been
Coast. I know.
coaching and
I
coaching
ran
you
the
all
Hood.
along.
Yeah, yeah. I ran the Hood to Coast that summer and started hiking and eventually started backpacking, and it's pretty unbelievable. Fast forward, I was with a group of women training to hike Mount St. Helens, and I thought I would go ahead, and I'm like so excited I could create a hiking fitness program. And I told my daughter, who's now at that time in college, and I was so excited, and she actually looked at me and said, well, then you probably better go to school and get a little bit of education about the body, because there's too many people working with people's bodies that don't know what they're doing. And that just like
Mm.
popped my balloon. So I did. I started learning about the body. And
Like I
that's
should be a
how
professional. Do this right.
yes, yes. And that's how I got into this. I haven't taken it on the trail yet, but I have coached people to get on the trail.
Yes.
And it's been really fun to help people get strong and to, I don't know, gain the confidence that they need to do the fun things they want to do in their life. Yeah.
I know you also in your sabbatical, or maybe even before your sabbatical year, that you got a certificate in coaching, that you were exploring that whole coaching and workshop, as well as
Mhm.
some outdoor
Yeah.
education. And you told me one day you had gotten back from a visit with your aunt, and your aunt invited you to a silver sneakers class.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember what you told me, but you said, I knew that, like, this was my path, because you saw. And by the way, Brenda, you are one of the most encouraging people that I've
Mhm.
ever met. Like, Brenda can't go out to lunch without encouraging the wait person. Like, you got to know this woman is like born to encourage.
Mhm.
And then I saw recently on your Facebook that you've like a wait list. Like, you haven't been doing this more than a couple of years, the group exercise, and you are like, people are waiting, hoping that they'll be able to get into your classes now.
Yeah. I'm having so much fun with it. I don't even know what to say about all of that. I guess what I realized when I took that silver sneakers class, which was like a group fitness class for people
Mhm.
over, I think they were all over 60. That's when I realized that that component of community was missing from my life.
Mm. Mm.
And so I had realized that I think I want to do something active, but that component of community was in there. I also by then had realized that I did not want to plan a retreat and have people saying things to me like, I don't like the food, or I'm cold, I need a blanket, or the soap is not working for me, I need something different. I think my own self going into menopause made me feel like that's not the kind of care I wanted to take towards people. If I'm going to be at a retreat, I don't think I want to put it on. I'd rather be that person at the retreat doing a stretching and flexibility class or Pilates class, or teaching water aerobics or helping people get into their bodies, rather than be the hostess with the mostest that has to do the hostess that has to do the mostest. I don't think I want to do that.
That
Uh,
has to solve all the problems, keep
right.
everybody happy.
Yes, yes. And so, yeah, I feel like with my clients, we just make each other's day. I make their day, they make that my day. It's easy. And I really love that. It's very reciprocal what we get. And I never thought that things that I would do would fill up and be in demand. I remember, I mean, it just wasn't that long ago, I swear, that I remember sitting in the bedroom discussing with my partner, what if I put all this time in and I can't even get a job, and nobody, I mean, nobody will want to work with me because I'm older. And that is not the case. People choose me because
Isn't
I'm
that
older.
amazing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just love that message right there because, who among us who isn't over 40, over 50, over 60? I'm now over 60. And, you start to wonder about your relevance in the world, especially with technology and AI and just how fast things are moving. But there is still such a place. And you mentioned that earlier, like we get to tap into
Yeah.
what we've learned in our lifetime and not just what we've learned through work because the work you used to do is very different,
Yeah.
but we get to learn through contrast, and through the
Yeah.
contrast, like you learned that you didn't want to sit all day. You learned through the
Yeah.
contrast of seeing what your parents were going through with both mental and physical
Mhm.
challenges, that
Yeah.
you didn't want to go down that road. You wanted to make your health an absolute priority and help other people do the same.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I feel like, I learn as much from my clients as they learn from me. And when it comes to AI, humans need connection.
Mhm.
You can go on AI and AI can help you with a workout, but AI is not going to give you the same fulfillment to get it done as having a meaningful connection with someone who's there with you. Maybe for some people that's good enough, but it doesn't work for everybody. And so what I'm finding is working with people is fulfilling, multiple needs for them. There's the physical need, there's a connection need.
Mhm.
I mean, I have had people say that I'm their sounding board, their counselor,
Yeah.
their your friend, their advocate, their exercise partner, so many different roles that's something we can't get from AI.
That's so valuable. Also, the accountability, like how many people say that they're going to go on YouTube or whatever and exercise every day. And then
Yeah.
maybe that lasts for, 5 days. And then you go back to your old
Mhm.
habits. So having people, having that structure, having people that you connect with, that you show up with, people who encourage
Mhm.
you, and you've got the classwork, but you also are doing one-on-one work if you're in the Portland area and you're looking for somebody to do that for you, to help you get in
Mhm.
shape and be your personal workout buddy. Then look up Brenda for that as well.
Yeah,
But you're right.
people are afraid to do it wrong. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, the exercise programs that are put together from AI are not always accurate. And there's not someone looking at your form to make sure you're doing it safely.
Mhm.
So that is another reason why people will tap into a human being to at least
Yes.
get started.
Yes.
And, any moving is better than no moving. It really is. And some people don't want to go to a gym. You know, they would
Mm.
rather exercise in their home or know how to exercise in their home or come and exercise in someone else's home. So the advantage of work, I'll work with someone on Zoom, I'll work with someone potentially in their home, potentially in my home. We can go to a community center, they can come to PSU, multiple different ways. But
Mhm.
ultimately, the best workout is the one that we'll do. What does it take
I love
for
that.
you to
So
do it?
true.
Does it take an accountability partner? What does it take for you to do it and not hurt yourself? And sometimes that's 5 or 10 sessions with a personal trainer or a Pilates practitioner. But
Yeah.
that health investment is our future. It's our vitality, and eventually it's our independence. And if you manage your money in a way that you've got plenty of money but you don't have your health,
Mm,
the quality of
yes.
life suffers. And then
And
what good is
there's
the
such a
money?
direct correlation between health and wealth because we end up spending, a lot of money trying to get our health back when we lose it, but also when we remain healthier, we can keep working, we can keep contributing. And I don't mean necessarily like, full-time work. That's part of the new retirement paradigm is going to at some point, like rather than seeing retirement as an event that happens on a certain date and you get your gold watch and the balloons or whatever, that we make it into a process. And and maybe we want to quit the cubicle, the commute, the corporate politics, but it doesn't mean we're ready to quit altogether. We're ready to, embark on something new and use some different skills. And maybe it's part-time, maybe it's seasonal, maybe we weave in sabbaticals, but we keep contributing and we keep receiving, some kind of money in return that we're making this trade in the world. And it's also a part of not just social, but when we keep working, we're keeping our minds active. Depending on the job, you may or may not be keeping your body active, but we're also like there are people who are counting on you. And so to show up in the world and do what you do in the world,
Mhm.
I did a little research a while back and learned what the most common pastime for people who are 70 and up in retirement is. Do you want to take a guess?
Uh-oh. Tell me. I don't think so. I better not guess.
The most common pastime by a mile. Like you can add up everything else, all the other pastimes of whatever, walking or photography or eh, all the all the other pastimes and hobbies together, and it doesn't add up to the amount of time that people 70 and older spend watching television.
Uh,
So when we think about, a future, like you call it rewirement and not retirement, because what are we retiring to? I have no desire to ever retire to a life of sitting on the couch and watching
right.
television. So, for me, it might mean doing some, even in my 70s, maybe doing some part-time coaching, maybe
Mhm.
still writing articles or my next book. For you, I'm imagining because I know you, like you're going to stay active no matter what you're doing. You're going to just keep encouraging and keep contributing. And when we look at it instead of like work, but we look at it as like, what would I love to do? And
Mhm.
it doesn't feel like work, but I can still earn money at it. I can still earn a paycheck.
Yeah. 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 That kind of brings me to this sign right here
Tell
because I
us about
believe,
that.
yeah, it's kind of a process to get there. We don't just wake up, most of us don't just wake up and go, oh, I'm going to do this now, and then just hop
Yes.
over there and start doing it, you know?
And if you're on the podcast and if you don't see the sign, it says live, alignment, love, inspiration, vitality, and ease.
Yeah, actually, it says alive.
Alive. Oh, alive.
Alive.
Thank
Live
you.
is actually
Alive.
in red, but it says
Oh,
alive, and alive is the word or the acronym
got it.
for A for alignment, L for love, I for inspiration, V for vitality, and E for ease. So, my invitation to everybody is to think about what does living a life alive mean to you? And ask yourself that question for every one of those words. What
Mm,
does living a life in alignment mean to you? So in that
Mm.
question, we might start asking ourselves our values, what we love, what we don't love, who we want to be around. What does alignment mean inside, outside, with people, not with people? Uh, what does love, a life filled with love, mean? How can I surround myself with people that I love, that love me? How can I do what I love? What is love? What is a life with love? Right?
Great
Inspiration.
questions.
So, okay, so what does inspiration mean to me? Oh, how can I be inspiring to another person?
Hmm. And
And
what
what
inspires
is
you?
what inspires me? And what is inspiring from another person to me? Right? And then vitality, describing what vitality looks like for us at 55, at 60, at 65, at 70, 75, 80, 85, 90. Because we create that vitality one decision, one choice, one thought, one action, one reaction at a time. And so really when we're defining all of these things, it's like it's like a sieve. We're making these choices consciously based on this work that we've done around these questions. If I want more ease in my life, what does that look like? What does it take? How can I create it? What is ease to me? And those answers are different for everybody. I declared 55 as alive. That's what I declared
Hmm.
when I turned 55. And that's when my goal was to rewire from corporate and find a way to not just make a paycheck, but to make a playcheck doing what I love, using what I know, my strengths, my wisdom, my choice, my the choices that I want to make in my life. How can I make some money doing that? And that takes a
Yeah.
lot of thought on what kind of life I want to live. Where are my finances now? What do I need to survive? What's the what's the cushion that I want for the life that I actually want to live? A lot of those things are things that we don't have to wait until we retire to start thinking about. You know?
Exactly. We're going to actually go to a break here in a moment. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about the financial piece because there were years of planning for you to set yourself up in a position where you could take the sabbatical, where you could launch into a second career, where you didn't have maybe the pressure to make the same income that you did in your first career. And I want to dig into that. Like I said, when I met you, I'm like, oh, she's doing all the stuff. And I just absolutely love it. So you've been listening to Vivatude. I'm here with Brenda Sutton, and stay tuned. We'll be right back.
And thanks for listening to Vivatude. 4 hosts, 1 each week. We help you revivitude your next chapter because purpose, passion, and prosperity isn't out there. They're already within you. Brighter, bolder, truer. Vivatude.